Welcome back to another tropical outlook. All eyes are focusing on major hurricane Erin, which has been upgraded to a Category 5 hurricane, currently estimated to have winds of around 160 miles per hour and a minimum pressure of around 917 millibars. So in the last 24 hours, the pressure has dropped by at least 75 millibars, which is just mind-baffling and just emphasizes the speed this hurricane is intensifying at. And look at the satellite imagery, you can see it has a very defined and small eye. Usually powerful hurricanes has tiny and compact eye structures, and Erin being one of them. The eye wall is extremely well structured all round. The convection is really strong. Circulation of the storm is rapid. The outer flow is very good. And in general, this is very strong hurricane we have here. So in the most recent few frames, the eye seems to have lost a bit of clearness. Some clouds is filling it in, but still remains extremely powerful. The convection to the northwestern side of the storm seemed to have weakened by a little in the recent frames. On the infrared satellite, you can see those high cloud tops around the center has temperatures dropping as low as negative 80 degrees, and the eye temperature has risen to at least 15 degrees. Usually, if a tropical cyclone is very powerful, they have very low cloud tops temperature and a very high eye temperatures. And Erin is really fitting into that description right now. It's also, you can see those outer bands of strong rainfall now covering to the majority of the Leeward Islands, also moving to Puerto Rico as well. So currently it's located at 19.7 degrees north, 62.8 degrees west, moving westward at 70 miles per hour. Now you'd probably wonder why it hasn't shifted towards the north yet, or why it's moving westward. That's because during its rapid intensification, the center of the storm kind of wobbled to the south a little. That's quite common for a storm that's intensifying at great speed, hence why Erin needs some time to pick up that movement towards the north later on in the lifespan. So here is the wind radius. You can see we are very lucky here because the strongest and furthest extent of the winds are mainly towards the north of the system. It's very elongated. If you look at the southern side of the center, the tropical storm and hurricane force winds extends towards barely anywhere. At least it's nowhere near the Lesser Antilles and Puerto Rico, so Erin is expected to remain to the north of these islands, and hence why we're expecting a really low chance for tropical storm condition in this area. Here's the 5 days forecast for Erin. We are, as we mentioned earlier, expecting it to resume the track towards the northwest. It could peak anytime within the next 12 to 24 hours. And in fairness, that's looking more likely to happen within the next 12 hours now. It could reach winds of up to 165 miles per hour. Then it will begin to weaken, mainly due to rising wind shear. But it could also maintain as a Category 4 hurricane up until Tuesday. We are saying consistent with the forecast of Erin taking itself away from land with that curved track, mainly due to the weakening high pressure area, creating an escape route that allows Erin to do that. We can pretty much rule out Erin having direct landfall on US eastern coast of the US now, which is a good news. And right now, it's also expected to move across the ocean, bang in the middle of Bermuda and the East Coast. If it does follow this track, Bermuda is likely to able to avoid the worst condition. But of course, the track does change, so we need to be staying cautious about it. Tropical storm force wind probability map, these chances has decreased for the Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, the Great Antilles. The place with highest chance of tropical storm condition right now is actually Bermuda, with around 20% chance of getting hit by that. Still quite low for now, but we will see if that goes up as Erin approaches that area next week. So this is the latest sea surface temperature. You can see Erin situated in temperatures of around 29 degrees Celsius. Temperature of up to 30 degrees ahead of it. That's going to help Erin to slow down its weakening trend after it peaks. Humidity also going to remain sustainable, hence why we're expecting it to remain as a major hurricane throughout the better part of next week, despite wind shear going to have a damage on the system. And here's the wind forecast by the GFS American model. The Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico expected to impact by winds of up to 25 to 30 miles per hour tomorrow. Along with the rain bands moving across, it could generate some really dangerous gusty winds, so residents should be cautious about it. Starting from next week, Erin is going to expand in size. You can see the wind field gradually grows larger and larger, but despite the massive size, the wind is still expected to miss out on the US East Coast and generally the Bahamas and Turks and Caicos as well. But in the latest run, Bermuda is expected to be inside the tropical storm condition area. And watch here. Another system expected to form. It might move into the Caribbean Sea, affects the Greater Antilles, then Florida, eventually entering the Gulf of Mexico and becoming a really powerful hurricane. But we're talking about something that's 1, if not 2 weeks ahead of us. So here's the forecast. GFS is expecting waves up to 2 meters off the coast of the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico. It will stretch towards the Hispaniola and Bahamas. Starting from the middle of next week, Erin continues to grow bigger. The eastern seaboard of the US will see wave heights rising to 2 to 3 meters. The northeastern coast might even see waves up to 4 meters. And look at Bermuda, they're expecting around 6 to 7 meters of waves. That is definitely dangerous, but if you're planning for water activity along the eastern coast next week, you might have to think twice or even reschedule it. Compared to models here, nothing really has changed. The consensus remains track that curves away from land into the northern part of the Atlantic Ocean. Intensity forecast wise, most models are expecting it to peak with winds of around 160 to 165 miles per hour, my bad, in the next 12 to 24 hours. Then it will begin to weaken slowly. Not fast at all by any means. After 72 hours, it could still be a major category 4 hurricane, according to the models. We will be continuously tracking Erin. Remember to subscribe, like and share, and remember to comment as well. Thanks for watching. Have a great evening.